Welcome to Flickering Myth Gaming's 7-day replay. I'm your host, Alan Christian. It's been 7 whole days since we last did this, so there's news.
So they tell me.
Let's jump right into our first news story. A New Jersey teenager made $1.7 million scalping PlayStation 5s, Xbox Series S and X, Pokemon cards, and just other assorted limited goods, things that are a bit hard to get. Made $1.7 million. I've seen a lot of outrage over this, but good for that kid, because
free market, baby.
That's the free market. That's the free market, and if you're buying things from scalpers, there will always be scalpers. So if you hate them, quit buying things from them. Wait. Especially things that will be produced in quantity for years to come. Don't buy scalp PS5s and Xbox Series X and S. There's no point in that. They'll make literally millions and millions of them. Tens of millions. Maybe even 100 million if somebody's lucky there. Don't do it. Whatever. A Japanese man was arrested for selling modified saves of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. He was arrested under the Unfair Competition Prevention Law, which is not something we really have here in the States. I don't think we really have an equivalent. But if you're selling things that modify other people's intellectual property in some ways, there's some dicey things in Japan. You probably shouldn't do it. In the past year and a half, he said he made... I can't remember. It's like 10 million yen.
100 million.
No.
Yeah. No, I mean, that just breaks down to about $90,000.
Yeah, whatever it is, whatever the exchange rate is, yeah, it's about 90,000 US dollars. Exchange that into whatever your local currency is. Weird. I just thought this was a bizarre story.
I respect this guy more than the scalper. I'll be honest.
I mean, he did something.
Yeah.
But he broke the law and the scalper didn't. So there's that. And in some of our big news stories, our first big news story, Assassin's Creed Infinity. Ubisoft went ahead and announced after a leak via Bloomberg, Jason Schreier leaked that the Assassin's Creed going forward would be a live services game. He also pointed out in that same article that there are some people with some unsavory allegations against them still working at Ubisoft, still in leadership positions. And almost immediately after, Ubisoft gave the official announcement. Seemed to be a bit of damage control, if you ask us, here at the 7-day replay.
Oh, yeah.
So that's gross on several levels. 1, what I just named. 2, live services games. I don't know if I need to compare those two things. But
I don't know why you need an Assassin's Creed Infinite when it takes 500 hours to beat one anyway.
Jeez, yeah. Well, isn't that infinite enough? Assassin's Creed Infinity. Assassin's Creed forever. Play the same game until you die. Now for our big news story this week. It had to be me. It had to be me. If you've listened to anything I've said at all for the past year, more, there have been plenty of rumors about a Nintendo Switch Pro. And every time these rumors popped up, what have I said, Gerald?
It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. There is no Nintendo Switch Pro. There never was going to be. I don't care what people say. I don't care if people are like, well, maybe this is just because they couldn't get the parts because of the production. No. There was never going to be one. This was all you were ever going to get. It's the Nintendo Switch OLED model, and it's $350. F you. Buy it. What comes with a Nintendo Switch OLED model? Instead of a 6.2-inch LED screen on the tablet itself, you get a 7-inch, did I say LED? LCD. A 7-inch OLED screen, which is nice. Don't get me wrong. Nice upgrade. But that's pretty much all you get. Yes, you get a LAN port on the new dock.
Finally.
But if you cared about that, you bought a dongle a long time ago. They revised the kickstand. They did revise the kickstand. Thank you for making your original idea into something that actually works, Nintendo. We've all already bought better stands where we could actually, charge our Switch. And it's white now. It's white.
It looks slick.
It does look slick. I like the look of this. Honestly, if this was just a modest mid-gen refresh, fine. Fine. It should be at the price point of the current Switch. Because right now, this is $50 more. $50 more for the same system on a chip that was in there at launch. For $50 more than launch price. 4.5 years later. This is a 6-year-old system on a chip, Gerald James. 6 years old.
Yeah. Hey, but at least they gave you $5 more worth of flash memory.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out because I forgot to put it in notes. Instead of 32 gigs of flash memory storage, you now have 64 gigs. So congratulations. You have 1 more week before you need to buy an SD card. Thank you, Nintendo. This thing, like I said, I think people think that I hate this as much as I've been talking about it. I think it is a fine mid-gen refresh. It is not worth $50 more. The price point is really the only thing insulting here. I didn't want a Nintendo Switch Pro. I didn't think a Nintendo Switch Pro was happening. It makes no business sense for a Nintendo Switch Pro to happen. These things are still selling like hotcakes to the point where they have not price reduced these things. Bump that down, Nintendo. Come on.
This is perfect for dudes who want to play Pokemon in their hallways.
Upcoming games this week, we have nothing. Nothing. This is a week of a big old nothing. This was the most time we spent prepping for this episode was trying to find something that was coming out this week. But no, they were all too afraid of the one release that we get this week. The one real release. There's plenty of ports, little things out here and there. Go check it out for your own. If you're into like Warhammer 40K, there's a RTS coming out. Whatever. The big release, July 16th, which I believe is Friday, we have Zelda, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD coming to the Switch. This game is good. It's a good game. It's probably gotten a little too much hell. People didn't like waggling around to do the sword play on the Wii. It's very linear. It's a good game, though. It's good. And now we can play it with regular controls, so we don't have to tire our arms out.
No more waggling, baby.
No more waggling, unless you really want to. There's waggle options. Waggle options are there. And finally, my game suggestion to you. It was an upcoming game that we announced last week, but I purchased Boomerang X. Boomerang X is wonderful. It's a great time. It's kind of a wave shooter in as much as a Boomerang game can be a shooter. I don't know how to describe it. It's a good time, though. Lots of tricks and movements to master. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I bought it on the Switch just because, you play it in bed. It actually works better on a controller than it does on a PC, for me, personally. Because I played the demo on the PC. I recommend going and buying it. It's only like $20. Thanks for watching, guys. This is my first episode of the 7-day replay. At least being up here. It's a little awkward. It's a little weird.
You did great, baby boy.
Thank you. I mostly like being over there. That's actually maybe my preference. But every other week we'll be cycling in and out. Join us back here next week. Let us know what you thought about any of these things in the comments down below. How do you feel about that Switch OLED model? How do you feel about Assassin's Creed Infinity, Assassin's Creed Forever? How do you feel about live services games? How do you feel about live service assassination games? How do you feel about New Jersey scalpers? How do you feel about that one guy getting arrested for modified save data? How do you feel about Skyward Sword?
Talk to us. We're long ways.
Below, and we will see you next week after another 7 days have passed, because that's how weeks work.